Mr. Irontrader. It is Thursday morning. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look at the old NQ, which is up about 14 today. Now remember, for natural gas, the EIA report will be out today at 10:30. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation of buy, selling stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, first on the old docket here, we got the old Bitcoin. Now you can see here how we have like a little nice, we had this topping tail, and we had this sideways action, but as you can see how you're uptrending here so far. Now yesterday we had what they call an inside day. Your high and low is the inside of the previous day. And so far today we have an inside day, high and low of previous day of yesterday, okay? So what we're looking for on the downside, if we want to watch today's low, 118.035, then we want to watch the bottom of this candle here, 117.255, and then we want to come to the bottom there at 116.90, and then we want to come right here 116.86. Very, very key. Now we put this topping tail in here. However, you can see here how these blue lines, these are just price channels, okay, which is basically nice because all they are is tops and bottoms of candles, okay? It makes life very easy. Now, you can see when they start getting the candles start getting outside of those price channels, it wants to come in, it wants to get towards that 8-day. Now that 8-day is caught up here nicely, okay? So that's going to provide very, very good support, okay? So that's what we want to watch. Now, if that 8-day is lost at 116.86, then we're going to look to the bottom of this candle here. This is that gap. 115.635. I always talk about these gaps, okay? Now, if it starts getting into the gap, then we're going to be looking right to the top of that candle. This is the fill at 114.380. So we have your gap and then your fill, and then we're going to be looking to the top of this candle right here at 112.590 level. Then we'll come to the bottom here. You're looking at 110.880, and then we'll be coming right down here to this 110.430, which is your 21-day, and then we have your 50-day. But you can see how nicely here, see here, what an uptrending it is at 8-day, 21-day, 50-day. Now, the whole key to this here is yesterday I'm sitting there after hours and I'm watching the Bitcoin, and then it came off, okay? But that's all because of Washington. They're trying to adapt some kind of a rules for all this kind of situation. But let me tell you something. If they sign an agreement and they get this thing rolling, Bitcoin will rip. I mean, it'll rip real much higher. So I have a long position, and I also have a trading position going on, okay? So now on the upside, we're going to be watching today's high, 119.915, and then we have 123.60, and we'll come to the top here, 126.95, and obviously we have this retest, 123.615. Now, we crack above that here. The measured move off of this inverse head and shoulder patterns is about 125.5, and that would be the area would be next if we close above this 123.615. So for today here, we just have this sideways action, which is fine. This is a good consolidation, okay? So don't get too excited. We had a really nice good run up here. And if you just look for the past here, okay, see how you have this nice big run up, then we have consolidation, run up, consolidation, okay? So that's what we're kind of looking at right now here. So a little bit of consolidation, little sideways action, but really watch that 8-day. We lose that, watch that gap, that fill, and then we have the 21-day. Upside, we really want to watch the top of this candle, 126.95. We get above that, you're going to retest that 123.615. Then we never see what the reaction, does it blast through or does it hit it and come right back down? But usually when you see these topping tails, it kind of retests, but again, it just has a sideways action because basically what you're looking for is just the closing on here, that 125.70 level, okay? The topping tail is just kind of like a little bit of gravy kind of a situation, okay? Now here, when we look at a weekly here, now we have this red candle, but it's more like an indecision kind of a candle. But as long as we're going to be holding the top of this right here, this 112.345, we're looking very, very good. As long as we're holding that 8-day 109.316, we're looking good on the weekly chart. Now you can see here we've got a little bit of an overbought situation, but you can see how strong that this commodity is. Okay, and the green is over your red, looking very, very nice. Same way with here, we had a little bit overbought. Now we're just hanging right above that 70, right below that 70 mark, looking very good. The green over your red. Very, very positive on this chart here. Again, it's all going to be what's going to be coming out of Washington. They get an agreement or whatever. I think Bitcoin could rip much higher. Okay, let's take a look here at gold and silver. Okay, here we have gold and silver. Now, they're really not doing much here. I haven't had any trades in here because we had this sideways action. What I was looking for here, we had this left shoulder ahead and the right shoulder. It just never really played out. Now we just have a sideways action. Okay, so we're hanging right around these areas here. This 33.47 to 21-day. We have this 33.38, and then we have right here 33.37. So we're hanging just this sideways action. So what you really need to do is it got to get above yesterday's high and close above that 33.85. But this is what you're really looking for, this 33.89. Okay, so you had 33.85. 33.89. Okay, so you see that was the resistant level right there. So always look to the left of the chart because this was the recent high yesterday. Went up there and it just couldn't quite. So this is what you're really looking for. So once you get above that area, then we can come up to this 34.22 level. Okay, so that's where am I at? Yeah, right there. Okay, so it's 34.22. That's just the top of that candle. Now, if you get above that, then we look for that 34.27, and then we're looking for 34.68, and then we have the top of there at 34.76 level. Okay, then obviously the next level is going to be that 35.09. But again, we just have this sideways action. You can see RSI is just sideways. MACD is just sideways. So there's really, for me, there really isn't any kind of a trade. There's a lot better stuff out there than what this is. Okay, for me anyway. Okay, now. A lot of people are just a pure gold trader and they can go to long and the short. I only trade the long here. But, when I seen this rising up here yesterday, I was going to think about jumping in. But then I always look to the left here and I'm looking at this 33.89. And I said, man, it didn't even make it up there. Now, if it went above that, then I would have taken the trade here and taken it up higher. But again, it didn't. And we have almost like a double top situation. And now we have a sideways action. So if we see going down, then you want to be looking at this 33.19. We have that 32.95. We'll come down here 32.90. We have 32.66, and then your retest down here at 32.50, and then we have the 100-day at 32.23. But right now we just have a sideways action here. We're looking for some kind of a catalyst to take that bad boy higher. Now silver. Okay, I owe silver here. Now you can see here. We're holding that 21-day really good, and now I can say we're holding that 8-day. Now, we had this topping tail, came right on down, and where to go? Held right to the 8-day. Today, so far, we have this inside day. So on the downside, you're really watching this 37.84. If we lose that, we got to come right down to 37 flat. That's your 21-day. But you have to respect that 21-day for how many times that it held in the past. It comes down here. It doesn't say it's not going to hold it again. On a closing basis, that's what we're looking for, okay? Now, if we can keep holding this 37.84 and we get above yesterday's high, then we could probably, at that 38.38, probably jump in here and take an SLV, take it for a little bit long. Your next level is going to be 37.89 here. We come up here at 39.22, and then we'll come up here at that 39.57 level. But again, we just have this sideways action, but we're really looking at a very, very bullish chart because we're holding the 8-day and we're holding that key 21-day. Now, we can see here, got a little bit overbought, but now we just have a nice strong RSI going on here. Your green is still over your red, and we just have a nice, good uptrending chart here. So again, you have to be a little bit patient here. This is your breakout at 39.57. You crack above that, you can go 40, 42, and then we'll head for that 45 level. Okay, let's take a look here now at the old crude and Natgas. Okay, here we have the old crude oil. Now you can see here, old crude oil doesn't want to give up the ghost, okay? So we had this topping tail here kind of situation. Had a very, very difficult time at that 68.34 level. This was actually a really nice trade yesterday. Came on down, and I was watching this 100-day, and then where did that price go? Right to the 100-day. I took the short off and took a little scalp on the long side. Now I'm flat. I have no position going on here, okay? Because right now we have so much resistance overhead, okay? So you got that 67.38, we have 67.64, and then we have that 200-day at 68.34, and then we're going to have to come on top of this candle here at that 69.65 level, okay? So there's a lot of resistance here. But again, on the downside, we have some good support at the 100-day, as you can see how nicely it held yesterday, 65.22, and then 65.06. See, this is why you trade the charts, okay? So when I had this short going on here, I was just waiting here, and then as soon as it came to this 100-day, I took that SCO off the picture, off the trade, and then I waited a little bit, and I jumped into UCO, went up here, and I took that right on off. Now we just have this sideways kind of an action here, but as I say, always watch these charts, okay? So downside, watch that 65.22 right below. We have 65.06, and then we have that 64 flat, which is just the bottom of this candle. Okay, so right now we have this sideways action, but when you look at this pattern, just step back, you gotta get out of your desk chair. Okay, you look at this is like a one big ass bear flag situation, and I think it's going to be a matter of time. Now the question is here is if there's a disruption, if the war starts back up there in the Middle East, or there's something in the Straits of Hormuz, or if there's a hurricane season, some kind of a disruption, you can take crude higher. There's no question about it. So always remember that. But again, normal, supply and demand. Right now, you're fully supplied for the demand here, so there's really no issue on that end. Okay, but now you're sitting at 66 level here. So let's just see how this all shakes up, and just watch that 100-day on the downside, 50-day on the downside, and then we have that retest 64. We lose that, then we're going to start coming all the way down here. We could come all the way down here to this 59 level and all the way down to 55. Very easy, okay? Upside, that 8-day, 21-day, and that 200-day, you have to get above that, and we have to close back above this candle, 69.95, 65, before we can start hitting for that 71 level and that 72 level, that 73 level, okay? So there's a lot of just sideways action. So this is a trader's market. This is not a buy and hold either direction. All right, natty gas. Well, natty gas here, looking pretty good, okay? So we had this topping tail, came right down. We had this downtrending action. See, we have a high, lower high, lower high, lower high. Now we reverse that. See how we reverse that? And now look at that 8 days curling up here. Okay, so far we have an inside day. So what we're really watching for here, we want to watch yesterday's candle, that 3.59 on the top, 3.49 on the bottom. Now we crack above that, and we're going to be looking right here for this 100-day at roughly 3.66 level, and then we can come up here at 3.75, and then we're looking for this roughly 8.4 level here. See how we had 8.4 here, retested it here. That was a double top, and then we crack above that. Here you go. You got 3.88. We have 4 flat, and then we have your 4 roughly 15 level, okay? But again, we have to close above that 100-day and all this resistance in order to do that. Now, on the downside here, we're watching at 353. That's your 21-day, your 50-day. We lose that. We have this 200-day, 344, and then we have this 3.41. So right now I have no position, okay, and I just trade this daily looking for trade. So what I'll be looking for here, now there isn't really much. Even if we get above yesterday's high, we only can climb up to that 100-day before there's going to be, some kind of a noise situation. So I'll be looking for trades here, and probably in the UNG, we've got to see. Unless we start losing this 21-day and 50-day, then I'll take a short ski all the way down to the 200-day. So we got to see how this all shakes out. Now, the EIA report is out at 10:30, and a lot of times for natural gas, that's a market mover. So you want to keep your eye on that number that comes in. Okay, RSI here, 52, plenty of room, to run either way. The green is over your red here. You got a really nice, you broke that downtrend here, so you could ease up. It all depends. It needs a catalyst, some kind of catalyst to take it higher. All right, let's take a little peek at that NQ. Okay, here we have the old NASDAQ futures. Okay, so again, I tell you the same thing every morning. NASDAQ future, S&P future, Dow future, charts all look pretty much the same. Okay, so right now here on the bottom downside, we're looking at that 23.12. That is your 8-day. We lose that. We come right down to the bottom here at 22.835, and then we have your 21-day at 22.693. We lose that. We're going to be heading towards that 50-day, and we're heading for that retest at 21.566 level, possibly your 200-day all the way down here. But right now here, we just have that melt up because like a consolidation, just a real tight range, okay? It isn't like here we had this nice, good oversold condition, and then you knew that, wow, I can ride this up for a long time. Now, this has been riding. You can see how strong this is, but eventually this will come off. So always remember that. Not today, maybe, not tomorrow, but eventually this has come off. This is the wrong time of the year kind of a situation. This is the summertime. But if this was like towards in the August, September, October area, then you have to be very careful, okay? Now, upside here, we're looking for that 23.222 level. That is your recent high. All you do is click on the price channel, and there it is. So that's what you're trading between that and this 8-day. Now, yesterday, it came all the way down, but you notice where it did? It closed right back above that 8-day. How strong that is? We lose that, we're going to come right down to the 21-day to catch all. Look how it held it all nicely here in the past, so we got to respect it going forward. So basically, I just like to show you this here, that we just have just basically trades going on here. This wouldn't, like for me, I'm not all balls out long here. I have a few stocks that I am, long with something like NVIDIA. That's always a good thing. But the rest of it is a good really trading right now in this situation. But again, when you see all this strength like this, eventually this comes off. All right, that's what I got for. I'll be back here midday trading, and we'll take a look at some stocks. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.